guys being here. Well, I'm excited to bring Jack Martin, NiceWigg, up. Jack is a co-owner of 100 Thieves. He joined us in 2021 as a content creator, and prior to joining as a content creator, he was an professional Apex player, and a caster, and many other things. And he really grew his career from scratch. It's actually, he has a very inspiring story, and I kind of did a deep dive yesterday, and I was just kind of almost crying and watching the recap of just like what's happened in your career and how it's kind of grown to what it is today. And it's amazing. I think that, in our last panel, we talked a lot about community, community building, authenticity, and just being genuine, and creating a space where your audience wants to come back and be a community. And I think that NiceWigg has done such a great job of doing that. And he's so charismatic, and he's so loving, and his mom is his biggest supporter. I love her so much. She is like in his chats, replying to every social media post. It's actually super cute. I haven't met her yet, but yeah, she's crazy cool.
Yeah, she's a little bit of a nutcase, but I think that's very possible. I'm a big mama's boy, that's how it goes. So.
Yeah. But earlier this year, actually, we asked whether Wigg would join us as a co-owner. Ownership is something that we don't take lightly. We only really offer it to creators that are invested in really what we're trying to do and what we're trying to build. And the future we're trying to build at 100 Thieves is truly continuing to build upon the intersection of gaming and plus, as I think Brianna talked about earlier. We want to do so much more, and I think that with NiceWigg's leadership, he can really help us curate the right group of creators that we're going to work with next. And he has such a strong vision for what we should be doing from a content perspective and a creative perspective. And he has a really unique skill set, because it's actually very hard to find creators with a very strong opinion. And there's some out there, but oftentimes people look for guidance. A lot of creators come for us for guidance. We're like, but you just have to be who you are, and that's generally what makes a creator great. And so I'm just so happy to share the stage with NiceWigg today. He's so generously offered us his time, and happy to welcome you.
Yeah, appreciate it. I'm definitely not used to being up here still, and having that co-owner card. But yeah, my career basically started from pretty much nothing. I quit my job over at Lower East Side Equinox, New York City. I pretty much had no money in my bank account. My mom was helping me pay rent and giving me money to run to the grocery store. And I was like, Mom, I'm quitting this job. I can't do it no more. I want to do something in gaming. And she, as a supporter she is for me, she's like, well, just don't tell your father. She's like, whatever you do, just please do not tell your dad. I'll pay for the next 4 months. I'll sneak money out of his account, whatever it may be. Just please don't tell him, you will get killed. And I was like, no, sounds good to me. So I basically quit my Equinox job, and I started streaming to literally 5-6 people, maybe for 2-3 months. And I had random people in my chat, sometimes it'd be someone from Argentina or then Brazil, and then I'd have, funny enough, my best friend back there, Chris, basically he and all of his college roommates in their house would have me up on their flat screen TV and parties, so I'd be getting Snapchats of them all drinking, having a good time, and whatever they were doing with me in the background, just winning Apex Legends games. And me to 5 people screaming at the monitor, whatever it may be. So it really just started out of nowhere, and then fast forward 3 months, I get in the lobby with one of the biggest streamers in the title that I was playing. His name was Dizzy at the time, and he had around 15,000 people. So when I got in the lobby with him, I obviously knew who he was, so I started freaking out. I started losing. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm playing with this guy. And funny enough, we played for an hour and a half, and he actually ended up at the end of his stream rating me with 10,000 people. Wow. So he sent all of his viewers over to me, which at the time, going from 5 viewers and having a max of 25, and then getting 10,000 people, I just started hysterically crying. I didn't really know what to do, because obviously I took a risk to be a part of something larger than what I was and make a community for myself. Coming from Equinox, it's cool, it's great, but a lot of my employees or my fellow employees were just there to really make money, when I wanted to do more with the people I was working with. I was someone who lost 180 pounds in 18 months. My mom was a bodybuilder, so I lost all that weight, and I just felt like I couldn't really get that sense of community, so I looked at gaming. And when I got there and had that opportunity, luckily enough, for some reason, I guess when I cried, everyone loved it, which I was like, that works out great, dude, because I felt so vulnerable at the time. I was like, my God, like a video went viral. It was like small streamer gets hosted by this guy. And it was just me crying everywhere on Twitter the next day. And I'm like, holy shit, like, great, fantastic. So apparently a lot of people, it resonated with a lot of people, and you know, gamers always have dreams to do something larger than themselves a lot of the times. And I had like 400 viewers from there, and then, you know, fast forward 2 years, I joined an organization called Counterlogic Gaming, which isn't around anymore. They're owned by MSG, and they actually, you know, sold to NRG, who's still in Los Angeles. And then I stayed as a free agent for a long time. I just took a gamble on myself. I was like, whatever money I can get from an organization, I don't really want to be a part of it unless they have a community. And I got offers left, right, and center all over the place, but I waited for 100 Thieves. I was like, when are these guys going to offer me something to do? I'm out here losing money per month. I'm hoping to God to take a risk on me. And fast forward, my whole community on Twitter is just bugging one of the coners. His name's Jack. And he was like, dude, can we just play so everyone shuts up? Like, I'm getting nonstop DMs. Your community's messaging me on Twitter. Like, for the love of God, let's just play, see how it goes, and then we just move on. I was like, deal, whatever. So I ended up playing with him, and he went to 100 Thieves afterwards and was like, you know what? Let's get you on the squad. And so he went to 100 Thieves without telling me. And he was like, yeah, we need to sign this guy at all costs. So basically I signed to 100 Thieves as a creator. I was extremely intimidating. I was by far the smallest creator that we had. I was averaging like, you know, a good amount of viewers, but in the grand scheme of things, what 100 Thieves was, what we do out here is like nothing. So I walked in and I immediately met all these people I used to watch as a kid, like Nate Schott, who's a co-owner. I watched him growing up in high school. So I'm meeting this guy, and I come to realize, like, yeah, this guy's an idiot. He's just like me. Like, he's the smartest person I know when it comes to branding, but like, he's just a gamer at heart, and these people are so smart. But then we started getting into more content, doing more things around the facility, and I got invited to all these different shoots, and I was starstruck for the first 5 months, but I realized, like, I want to do more and more and more. The employees I met, everyone I met, I was like, dude, you know, when we had layoffs, whatever it may be, I was like, dude, this hurts my heart. And I was, as a creator, I was like, I felt like useless. I was like, I'm creating content, I'm showing up for shoots, but you know, at the end of the day, I want to help this company become something more, whatever it may be, whether it's, you know, me just being in the compound more, whether it's, you know, giving my opinions on what we could be doing for content. I just wanted to be helpful, and I'm very lucky. I'm getting emotional, but I'm very lucky that 100 Thieves took that risk on me, and this year asked me to be a co-owner after, you know, 5 years in the organization. And yeah, I mean, I love this org to death, and I'm very, very thankful for sure. And community is, I think, something that I resonated with a lot for what 100 Thieves does. I mean, as you can tell, with, you know, getting people around like this, we do non-stop events. It's a blast, and just meeting people that you could talk to, whether it's a 30-second conversation, a 20-minute one about how you changed their life or how this company, you know, made a difference or an impact in a certain time where they were struggling. Like, that's what it's all about for me, and that's one of the main things I want to keep enforcing as a co-owner is like community all the time.
Yeah, community first. I mean, we definitely are not about sort of the passive viewer. We really want to invite the viewer to come back. So that is not easy.
No.
Especially on Twitch, there's a lot of different creators, especially the bigger creators, pull in mass audiences every single day, 25K, 30K. I mean, what do you do to keep your audience coming back?
Yeah, I think one of the main mistakes that a lot of new creators make is not finding like a niche for themselves. I do think it's very hard to be a variety creator straight off the rip and start, you know, streaming this game, or you wake up the next day and you're like, oh, I want to play this instead of this. You know, you have to kind of find your niche. My niche is so weird. I mean, I watch party a professional esport, but I'm like the unprofessional professional. Like, people watch me to hear me ramble, scream, curse. But you know, I found my niche, I stuck with it, and I grinded it out. And you kind of have to just develop that community within something first, and once you get that stable fan base or those supporters, then you can move on to do something more with yourself and more with your content. And you can feel stuck in moments. I know there's a bunch of creators that I talk to on the daily that do, but at the end of the day, you still gotta make it a business, and that's one of the biggest things for sure.
And outside of live streaming, how do you connect with your fans?
I do Discord a lot, obviously, like sending Discord messages out, but it's also your engagement on Twitter, Instagram. I think one thing I think a lot of companies don't realize, and what I had to realize growing as a creator, was, dude, they can read a lot of bullshit. Like, that's just how it goes. A lot of viewers can read through a lot and see through a lot. You know, we deem gamers not like, I always tell my chat, we're all a bunch of idiots. Like, it's the truth, right? We all like to have a good time. Sometimes we're degenerates, but they can see through a lot. And when it comes to sponsorships and companies, trust me, I've had some sponsors where I wasn't like my heart wasn't fully in it. And I'm like, oh God, my chat is brutal right now, right? I'm like, God, I just want to get off. This is rough. But then you have, sponsors that I was fully backed into and emotionally invested in, and my chat could tell in 2 seconds. And you could see, the commands popping, people asking, how did you get involved, or how can I support you through this brand? And when it came to 100 Thieves, when I got sponsored by y'all, my chat knew my heart was in it. And everything that I do, my chat now enjoys 100 Thieves just as much as I do. It's fantastic.
So cool.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of great things while you've been here.
Yeah.
Now, almost 7
Well,
years, 6 years.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think you brought us some opportunities too. But we've seen sort of the transition of sort of the entertainment space go from sort of old Hollywood, sort of traditional movie releases, press junkets, things like that. And it's slowly kind of transitioning into our space, right? Kind of working with content organizations like ourselves. So you've actually had some really fun opportunities to be a part of Mario Brothers 2 release content day. Our friends at One Tap over there brought us Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
You've done Dog. Was that the name of the movie?
Yeah,
Dog.
with Channing Tatum.
Yeah, with Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Probably back in 2022. Literally. Wig was bit by a dog outside.
Yeah, so literally right there. It's just like, I think a lot of those worked out well because, I've done like very traditional stuff with some big companies before, and again, I think just it's not really well received within the gaming space or the Twitch, landscape. They like to see the behind the scenes stuff. They like to see organic reactions between companies with the actual streamer, or whether it's, Channing Tatum sending a dog out in Belgium to fucking go and bite me in the butt. Like, one of the two, right? So like, my chat absolutely loved all those organic interactions. Chris Hemsworth walking in the compound and me not even recognizing what's behind me. Like, that clip just did better than me just being like, hey, go watch Crime 101. It's those organic reactions that I think, and organic moments where I'm cursing out Channing Tatum in the parking lot because he told me he was going to bite me in the arm, but it actually bit me in the leg instead. And my chat just loved it. And so did obviously TikTok and everything. And I think those moments of authenticity between, companies, whether it's press junkets, whether it's sponsors directly to the stream or directly to a company they're working with, I think is extremely important. And again, Twitch chat and a lot of these viewers can recognize the difference the majority of the time. They really can.
I mean, you had the opportunity to meet the entire Mario Brothers cast. What was that like?
Dude, they were really nice. A lot shorter than I thought, to be honest. Like, that was pretty much the most surprising part. I'm like a huge Charlie Day guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So when I met him, I was like completely starstruck. And then seeing Jack Black, like, be who he was and like scatting the whole time, like, I couldn't believe it was like real life. Like, it felt like a movie scene in itself. So it was surreal. It was also very scary because they obviously had no idea who I was. So they're like, can we get Jack Black and the others? And I'm like, dude, that's me. I'm like, the others, dude. Hell yeah, this is sick. But like, yeah, in all those moments I don't think you could really prepare for. But again, it's when you're in the moment and you're working with such great people. So far, everyone we've worked with has been fantastic. We just worked with Israel Adesanya, an MMA fighter named Stylebender. We just did a little shoot with him for a company, and my interaction with him was fantastic. Like, it was awesome, it's authentic, and the guy was a standout individual. So I think in moments like that where you could really have those authentic moments, I think is really, really important for the company.
You gotta tell him what he did to you.
Yeah, he kicked me in the stomach, and then gave me a knee as well, and then gave me a shin kick. Shin kick hurt the worst by far, wasn't close.
Were you wearing pads?
I was wearing pads for the knee and the kick, but it hurt so bad, dude. It was crazy. Yeah, shin was the worst by far. It wasn't even close. It was like a slight little kick, and I was down and out. I felt so emasculated. Like, this guy could just beat me up any second he wanted to right now, dude.
Yeah, I mean, we love connecting with brands and working with brands that can speak to our audience because it is about that authenticity and genuine connection. When our creators are comfortable and excited about a brand, and 100 Thieves as a brand can connect with brands that truly tell our stories and share our values, the partnership goes really, really far. And we've been really lucky over the years to have key partners such as AT&T and Lexus. They've been around for almost 5 years, and they'll be renewing for hopefully a couple more years. And we're super grateful, but also excited that they took a chance on us very early on, because gaming, as we shared earlier, is sort of a test market for a lot of brands. And when we first started really pitching the company a few years ago, not a lot of organizations knew what gaming was and how to activate within gaming. But now I think that brand marketers have really evolved and truly, really understand what we're trying to do, and I think that's really special. But what are some of the brands that you've enjoyed working with over the years?
So obviously outside of like AT&T, Lexus, who are like my main sponsors. I mean, in the beginning, AT&T too was the same thing. You know, them getting situated and understanding how to work organically with my broadcast was kind of funny. They were like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Well, I have no idea. I've never really done like brand activations myself." And I was like, "Let's just figure this out together." So we started like some very simple streams and some very simple like Instagram posts, and now it turns into like every time I do like a watch party with like the esport that I'm in that office. We have like 100 people outside all hanging out eating pizza, and I think my chat now has told me specifically they go out and look for AT&T when they go for like apartments or like when they go for housing or moving states, where it may be, because of how good they've been to my community. And same thing for Chipotle. You know, when I used to work with Chipotle, you know, for a while they were like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, "I have no idea." Again, I don't know how to incorporate, you know, burritos into my FPS gaming. It's not that easy, but they came up with the idea like, "Hey, how about for like every kill you get in a game, you know, we give like 100 burritos away." I was like, "Dude, that sounds fantastic." So I mean, we gave away like I think over 1,000 burritos in like a stream for free. And since then, my chat's been asking like, "Yo, whatever happened to Chipotle?" Like, we kind of love that. Like they seem really cool. You think you get them back? I'm like, "Y'all just want free stuff," which I don't blame. But like generally, I think again, it's like, we worked with Chipotle, AT&T, I mean, Lexus has been fantastic, started working with them, and again, it's really about how you can find an organic way to fit into a broadcast, and that's not easy, you know? Every broadcast is different, every streamer has a different niche, and sometimes I've taken like a couple of sponsors who I felt uncomfortable doing the streams because they told me how to say certain things or act a certain way, and my chat, again, can read through it, but when those brands, you know, kind of give a little bit of, you know, creative freedom to certain streamers, maybe not to all, because some will run away with it, but in certain ways, that creative freedom really can mean a lot. And the difference between a company being trusted after a sponsor and actually respected versus I saw right through that. So one of the main things for sure.
Yeah, no, definitely. We talk to brands pretty much every single day, and it's really about a true partnership. Like, what are you looking for? This is what we're looking for. And I think that, you know, partners who truly invest in gaming go pretty far in the space because, again, viewers, audience, they can see right through it, and gamers truly want to make sure that you really care about gamers. They don't want sort of part-time game lovers. They really want people who are invested.
Yeah, and I would also say, you know, gamers are some of the most passionate fan base you can get. You know, we talk about like K-pop groups and something like that, but some of the top dogs of Twitch have the most diehard fan bases. I mean, you can put a Twitch code out or, you know, a merch code out, and you can see that merch sell out in 20, 15 minutes. So, you know, it's really underestimated as to how passionate the gaming fan base is, and just the Twitch aspect in general. You don't have to be gaming, just IRL streaming, just chatting, just sitting behind your desk and communicating with your chat and be fun. Some people make, you know, insane amount of money off that, but it's also about the community support and how much these guys ride or die for their streamers because they agree with their opinions or they agree with what they're saying, or even just, you know, they're a light in like a dark moment for these viewers, and they'll go to bat for these dudes every single day.
I love that.
Yeah.
When you think about sort of your growth trajectory and what you're going to do next, you've obviously like iterated, right? You focused on Apex, and now you're doing more like a variety of different content.
Yeah.
What do you think you're going to do next?
Oh, I have no
Tell us
idea.
your little secret.
I got like no clue. I'm usually like a man. I like long-term plans financially. You know, I like to. My dad instilled that in me, as you can tell from the story before. He's like, "Dude, I don't care if you're selling drugs at like a van. As long as you're good at like 30 years, you're not asking me for money, it's fine." So financially, I think long-term. Short-term, I'm usually pretty go with the flow as to what I want to do. I find like a passion to ride with it, and you know, I've been passionate for 100 Thieves for the last 7 years. So whatever I can do to kind of make this company a more positive impact in the gaming space and help, you know, grow the employee base and make everything better for everybody, I just want to be here doing that. You know, whether it's the next 5 years, next 10 years, however long we're around, we just want to make it better for everyone.
Are you down for some real acting? We're concepting some micro dramas.
Yeah. I think I'd be a pretty good actor. I'd be really nervous on camera. I was actually, I don't think I've ever told you this or anybody, I was on Blue's Clues as a kid. Yeah, so I was on Blue's Clues, like a commercial as a kid. I was in like I don't know what happened to me. I was on a Lord and Taylor magazine, like a Snickers ad, all that stuff, but yeah, I don't know what happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that is good to know.
Funny enough, too, my mom was actually offered. I was a cute kid. Again, I have no idea. Like, I've been so healthy my whole life, and I'm still just look like this. But like, basically, I think my mom got an offer to be in a movie for me, to be in a movie for Vin Diesel, but we have to move to Hollywood. And I was like, no, we're good. So my mom just kept me
Oh,
in our
man.
hometown of like 400 people and just said, we're not going to do that.
Is
So
it Fast and Furious?
I don't know what it was. It was something. But it could have
Oh man. Well, it's okay.
Yeah.
We'll find you that moment again.
Probably not.
But amazing.
Yeah.
This has been really fun. I think we could sit here all night and just chit chat, but I know we have another panel, so thank you
Of course.
for
Thank you
sharing
guys so
your
much.
journey with
Appreciate it.
us.